Welcome to Next Generation. Imagine checking into a hotel, not in New York, not in London, but in outer space. By 2035, space hotels might not just be science fiction, they could be reality. What if you could enjoy a weekend getaway while orbiting Earth, watching sunrises every 90 minutes, sipping coffee while looking down at the blue planet below? In today's video, we'll explore how space hotels of the future will look, what they'll offer, and how humans may soon vacation among the stars. If this vision of tomorrow excites you, don't forget to subscribe and stay with us until the end. The idea of space hotels has lived in our imagination for decades, often portrayed in movies where floating structures orbit the planet with breathtaking views of Earth. What once seemed like fantasy is now inching closer to reality, with companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Orbital Assembly Corporation rapidly advancing technology. The dream of staying in orbit is no longer just for astronauts. By 2035, experts believe commercial orbital hotels could become the ultimate luxury destination, allowing civilians to experience life beyond Earth in a way that was unimaginable just a few years ago. These hotels won't simply be metallic capsules. They're envisioned as rotating stations with artificial gravity, private cabins, dining halls, and even gyms. Imagine a luxury cruise ship, not on the ocean, but orbiting 250 miles above the Earth's surface. The architecture of these space hotels is designed to balance futuristic aesthetics with human comfort. One of the most ambitious concepts is the Voyager Station, a rotating hotel that could host up to 400 guests. Its design uses centrifugal force to create artificial gravity, allowing visitors to walk and move around naturally instead of floating in zero gravity. Inside, guests could enjoy private suites with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Earth, restaurants serving meals grown from hydroponic gardens in orbit, and theaters equipped for immersive zero-gravity VR experiences. Lighting will mimic Earth's natural day-night cycles to maintain circadian rhythms, while the decor blends cutting-edge modernity with the warmth and comfort expected from a high-end resort. Rather than sterile white walls, the interiors will look sleek, colorful, and stylish, ensuring guests feel both futuristic and at home. Of course, getting to these space hotels in 2035 won't be like calling a taxi. The journey itself will be a spectacular part of the adventure. Guests will depart from specially designed spaceports on Earth, which resemble futuristic airports equipped with launch pads instead of runways. After check-in, travelers will board advanced reusable spacecraft, such as SpaceX's Starship or Blue Origin's next-generation rockets. These ships will carry them into orbit in less than an hour, docking seamlessly with the orbital hotel. From Earth to space station, the entire journey could take under 2 hours, making it as routine as an international flight. Naturally, such an extraordinary experience will come at a cost. In the early stages, prices may range from $250,000 to over $1 million for a short stay, accessible only to the wealthiest individuals. But as technology improves and reusable rockets lower launch costs, prices are expected to fall significantly. By 2035, luxury packages may begin around $50,000, which, while still expensive, will open the door to adventurous travelers worldwide. Over time, as demand grows and competition rises, the price may decrease further, transforming space tourism from an elite dream into a possibility for middle-class families. Just as air travel evolved from luxury to everyday convenience during the 20th century, but what will life in a space hotel actually feel like? Let's imagine a day in orbit. A guest begins their morning by waking up in a spacious suite, sunlight streaming in from Earth's horizon. Unlike Earth, where we experience one sunrise daily, the orbital hotel offers 16 sunrises and sunsets every 24 hours, each lasting only a few minutes as the station circles the planet. Guests will enjoy breakfast in a futuristic dining hall, where food is freshly prepared using hydroponically grown vegetables and fruits cultivated in orbit. Salads, tomatoes, and strawberries could all be harvested within the hotel itself, paired with Earth-based imports like grains and spices brought up by supply shuttles. During the day, the experience is unlike anything on Earth. Guests could participate in zero-gravity activities such as floating, BASKET, matches, tethered spacewalks, where they step outside into the vacuum of space while safely connected to the station, or virtual reality simulations that merge real views of Earth with augmented experiences. Gyms will be designed with equipment adapted for reduced gravity, helping travelers maintain muscle and bone health during their stay. Families could gather in observation lounges, reclining as they gaze at Earth's continents, glowing city lights, and shooting stars racing across the backdrop of infinite space. Evenings in a space hotel would be unforgettable. Imagine sitting in a glass-domed lounge, sipping a drink while watching thunderstorms illuminate Earth's surface below. Astronomers on board might guide guests through constellations, explaining galaxies and nebulae visible from orbit with a clarity unmatched on Earth. Cinemas could host zero-gravity film screenings, while fine dining restaurants serve meals infused with futuristic culinary twists. Every detail is crafted to combine wonder, comfort, and innovation. Of course, Building and operating these orbital hotels comes with challenges. Radiation protection will be one of the biggest concerns, requiring thick shielding or advanced materials to ensure guest safety from cosmic rays. Air supply and water recycling systems will be vital, using state-of-the-art life support technologies to ensure sustainability. Emergency systems will include escape pods or standby spacecraft for rapid evacuation in case of technical failures. Artificial gravity through rotation will reduce health risks associated with long-term weightlessness, while medical staff trained for space-specific issues will always be on board. Governments and international organizations will likely establish strict regulations to ensure both safety and fairness in space. Tourism.Why invest so heavily in space hotels when the costs are so high? The answer lies beyond tourism. Just as early air travel began as an elite pursuit before becoming global, space hotels could pave the way for long-term human settlement in orbit. The infrastructure and technology developed for these hotels will be essential for future moon bases, Mars colonies, and deep space missions. By 2035, space hotels may not just be vacations for the wealthy. They will be testing grounds for humanity's larger dream of becoming a truly spacefaring civilization. By 2035, space hotels won't just be about luxury. They'll be a booming industry. Multiple private companies are already competing to make orbital tourism a reality. Organizations like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Orbital Assembly Corporation are building prototypes and testing technologies that will one day host hundreds of visitors in space. Investors see this as the next gold rush, similar to how aviation or the internet transformed global economies. Space hotels will create entirely new markets, ranging from orbital entertainment and tourism to education, research, and even off-world business meetings. Imagine corporations holding global conferences in orbit, where executives gather not in Las Vegas or Dubai, but in a rotating ring above the Earth. The prestige of being part of the first wave of orbital visitors will be enormous, and companies will use it as a branding tool to show innovation and global leadership. The economics behind this industry will rely heavily on SpaceX's Starship program is already focused on dramatically reducing the cost per kilogram to orbit. By 2035, launching goods and people into space could be 10 times cheaper than today. That means space hotels will not only serve tourists but will also become hubs for scientific research and technology testing. Pharmaceutical companies, for example, can run experiments in microgravity that are impossible on Earth, potentially discovering new drugs. Engineers can test new materials in orbit where the absence of gravity allows for breakthroughs in design. These research initiatives will help subsidize the tourism side, bringing down costs for private travelers. Technological innovations in space hotels. The hotels of 2035 will rely on cutting-edge technologies to provide comfort and safety for their guests. Artificial gravity will be one of the most important. Without it, guests would suffer from muscle loss, fluid shifts, and other health issues. Rotating ring designs will simulate Earth's gravity, allowing people to walk, sleep, and eat normally. Smart AI systems will manage life support, adjusting oxygen levels, recycling water, and monitoring guest health in real time. Every cabin will likely have digital assistants, similar to Alexa or Siri, but far more advanced, capable of predicting guest needs and personalizing their stay. Food production will also evolve. Hydroponics and aquaponics will allow crops and even fish to be raised in orbit, giving hotels fresh produce and protein. Dishes will be created using a mix of Earth-supplied ingredients and in-orbit farms, offering menus that are both futuristic and sustainable. Guests might taste space-grown strawberries or lettuce harvested just hours before their meal. Chefs will work with robotics and AI-assisted kitchens to craft meals that feel gourmet. Despite the extreme environment, entertainment will be like nothing seen before. Zero-gravity concert halls could host performances where musicians and dancers float alongside the audience. VR domes will combine real views of Earth with immersive digital overlays, allowing visitors to virtually travel to Mars or Saturn's rings while orbiting our planet. Sports leagues may even form around zero-gravity activities, where tourists compete in games uniquely possible in space. Environmental considerations. There will also be environmental challenges. Launching rockets requires enormous amounts of fuel and creates emissions. However, by 2035, cleaner propulsion methods may reduce the environmental footprint of space tourism. Companies are already experimenting with methane and hydrogen fuels, which burn cleaner than traditional rocket fuels. Advances in carbon capture and offset programs will also ensure that humanity's steps toward the stars don't damage Earth in the process. Space hotels themselves could act as sustainability models, recycling nearly everything on board and inspiring Earth-based cities to adopt similar systems. Cultural and human impact beyond technology and business. Space hotels will transform human culture. Just as air travel made the world feel smaller, space tourism will make Earth feel more fragile and interconnected. Guests who stay in orbit will return with the so-called overview effect, a shift in perspective that astronauts often describe when they see Earth from space. They realize the planet is a tiny, fragile home. And this experience often makes them more dedicated to protecting the environment and fostering global cooperation. Imagine a generation of leaders, scientists, and artists who have all spent time in orbit, bringing this new vision back to Earth. It could profoundly influence politics, art, and society. Cultural experiences will also adapt. Space hotels may host weddings in orbit, spiritual retreats with views of the cosmos, or even art exhibitions where zero gravity allows for entirely new styles of creativity. These events will become status symbols for the wealthy at first, but over time, they may grow into traditions that anyone with enough savings could experience at least once in their lifetime. Future expansion, Moon and beyond. Space hotels in Earth's orbit are just the beginning. By 2035, there may also be plans for lunar hotels resorts built on or orbiting the Moon. These would not only serve tourists, but would also support lunar mining operations and scientific research bases. A lunar hotel could allow guests to see Earthrise from the Moon's horizon, an experience no words or images can truly capture. In the decades after 2035, we may even see hotels on Mars or orbiting around other celestial bodies. The progression from Earth orbit to Moon to Mars mirrors how aviation expanded from local flights to transcontinental to intercontinental travel. Each step prepares humanity for the next, and space hotels will be the commercial backbone that makes these journeys profitable and sustainable. Private companies will push boundaries, while governments provide oversight and infrastructure, creating a partnership similar to how commercial airlines developed under government regulation in the 20th century. The social divide and accessibility. One major issue will be accessibility. At first, space hotels will only serve the ultra-rich, creating a divide between those who can afford the experience and those who cannot. Critics may argue that resources should be focused on Earth's problems, like poverty or climate change, instead of luxury tourism in orbit. Proponents, however, will point out that every new technology from airplanes to smartphones began as a luxury for the few before becoming widespread. The revenue from wealthy tourists will fund advancements that eventually lower costs for everyone. By the end of the 21st century, staying a week in orbit may be no more unusual than going on a cruise ship today. The psychological experience of orbit life in a space hotel will also challenge the human mind. Living in confined quarters, surrounded by strangers, with Earth always visible but out of reach, could create both awe and anxiety. Designers will need to make environments comfortable, with warm lighting, open spaces, and plenty of psychological support. VR environments may be offered for relaxation, simulating beaches, forests, or family gatherings back home. Guests may have access to constant communication with Earth through high-speed satellite internet, ensuring they don't feel isolated. Yet the positives are immense. Seeing Earth from orbit will likely reduce stress, encourage mindfulness, and inspire a sense of unity. Couples will bond over shared adventures, children will dream of careers in space, and scientists will find fresh motivation to solve humanity's challenges. Space hotels are not just places to stay, they are catalysts for transformation. Conclusion. By 2035, the concept of a space hotel will no longer belong to science fiction but to human reality. These orbiting resorts will represent the pinnacle of technology, luxury, and imagination. They will allow humans to experience life beyond Earth, while also advancing the technologies needed for survival on other worlds. Whether as luxury destinations, research hubs, or stepping stones to the Moon and Mars, space hotels will redefine travel and human culture. Imagine boarding a spacecraft, leaving behind the atmosphere, and within hours, checking into a suite that overlooks the entire planet. Imagine dining on space-grown fruits, watching 16 sunrises a day, and sharing laughter in zero gravity with friends from around the world. This is not a distant dream, it is the future that awaits us in just over a decade. So, as we look toward 2035, one thing is clear, the next generation of travel will not be by plane or ship, but by rocket. And the destinations will not just be cities or countries, but the stars themselves. The future of hospitality lies above our heads, orbiting silently, waiting for us to step inside. If you enjoyed this journey into the future of space hotels, don't forget to subscribe to Next Generation. Together, we'll continue to explore the cars, homes, technologies, and lifestyles that are shaping tomorrow's world today.